वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपाम्बुदिय तमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Warm welcome everyone in our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So we'll continue our study Bhagavad Gita from chapter 13, text 8 to 12. We discussed it previously also and we'll continue. Um, See, Bhagavad Gita is such a dialogue. Actually, see two things in life, and see, life cannot go without these two things. And life is all about a challenge. Yeah, it can be a challenge. Having them two together very smoothly, parallelly, very smoothly, coherently, very nicely, say in harmony. What are those two things? Say one is fact, facts, reality. Hmm? Another is emotions. huh? For any communication to be uh, proper, to be very effective, of course, the sanctity, the fact, the reality of the communication has to be checked. And also the emotion. See, Krishna consciousness is both reality and emotions twinned in together. We cannot live without with just facts. Reality isn't say facts for that matter, because हम machines नहीं है ना. uh, we are sentient beings, so we just cannot survive with facts. कि mainly in arguments से, uh, in arguments just bringing facts but not considering emotion not so good, है. Many times emotions have their place and emotions win over or emotions should be seen. And just going by emotions but neglecting facts, no, doesn't work. So see, so many in life, no short of management, na? Managing oneself, managing one's schedule, routine, one's own thing, and managing family, managing job, managing so many studies, things, and the people. There could be conflicts, there could be some disagreements, arguments. So fact and emotions. How can we run life so that facts are also intact and emotions are also properly balanced? Now look, this dialogue. uh, Every time, like the more we see the situation of Arjuna, the more we tune in ourselves with that situation, with that condition of Arjuna, the more we'll find our heart in Bhagavad Gita. जितना हम अर्जुन के पीड़ा को समझ पाएँगे ना, जितनी उसकी पीड़ा से हम अपने आप को पीड़ित हो पाएँगे, जितनी उनकी स्थिति से, उनकी पीड़ा से हम अपने आप को पीड़ित देख पाएँगे, उतना हमारा भगवान के प्रति आकर्षण उभरेगा। Maybe I might do more in Hindi, हाँ, let's see. जितनी अर्जुन की वेदना को जितना हम समझ पाएँगे ना, यही भक्ति है वास्तव में। ब्रज भक्ति क्या है ना, ब्रजवासियों की जितनी हम उनके प्रीति, भक्ति का एक एक और अर्थ क्या हुआ ना, प्रीति है ना। प्रीति मतलब क्या, प्रेम, प्रेम में ही सेवा, प्रेम पूर्वक सेवा। सेवा, सर्विस तो प्रीति से ही होती है ना। प्रेम प्रेम के बिना कोई सेवा थोड़ी ना। इज देयर एनी सर्विस विच इज डन आउट विदाउट आउट ऑफ लव? नो, anything done without out of love is not service actually in real sense. तो भक्ति मतलब क्या, भक्ति एक प्रकार से मीन्स प्रीति, लव। एंड अब भक्ति क्या, ब्रजवासियों की, हम ब्रज भक्ति में अपने आप को प्रतिष्ठित करना चाहते हैं ना, सिचुएट करना चाहते हैं। वी वांट टू सिचुएट आवरसेल्व्स इन द मूड ऑफ ब्रज भक्ति। महाप्रभु's टीचिंग्स, दैट इज महाप्रभु's मूड, ब्रज भक्ति, नवदीप भक्ति एक ही बात है। on those lines, huh? आचार्यों ने जो दिया. So for us to situate ourselves in Braj Bhakti, what it is to consider, to appreciate the bhakti of others. That is real bhakti. To see how everyone is so advanced, how everyone is such a better devotee of Krishna than me. Mm. And to genuinely have this sentiment, mood, this understanding, and to be genuinely formed, fixed up with this. So Arjuna's, the more we understand Arjuna's situation, condition, the more we will find affection for Krishna, affection for this message of Bhagavad Gita, appreciation. So in life, again, emotions and fact. Arjuna was reeled down, reeling under emotions. Mm, first chapter, na? Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, or Arjuna's Vishad Yoga, his lack of clarity, confusion, and he was so emotionally overwhelmed, mentally overwhelmed, yeah, so much drawn emotionally and mentally, very low, very sucked. And the facts of the life, उस समय facts भी बता दूं ना, when someone is emotionally or mentally very down, and even if we bring facts may not help. And just like emotionally and mentally one may be so upbeat, but if he is not in tune with reality, again doesn't help. But Bhagavad Gita, see, Krishna is bringing the facts of life, reality of life to Arjuna. And same time, he is taking care of Arjuna's emotional well-being, mental well-being. Uh, So all overall thing is overall practicing Krishna consciousness, overall our psychic balance will be nurtured, nourished like anything. Facts of life will come about, and with that facts of life, our this emotion and mental well-being will also be nurtured to the highest possible extent. And emotional mental well-being peace we will find through study of Bhagavad Gita, which will bring out to us the reality of life. So otherwise we do not see anywhere such a dialogue where emotions and this transcendental reality or truth, absolute reality, going together, say, or reality or truth for that matter. And in life also, no, in general dealings in life, there is always scope for miscommunication, but in Bhagavad Gita there is no miscommunication. Uh, in generally, na, differences in relations. Why? Because not the other person is faulty or wrong or having some ill intention. No, it's by and large mostly miscommunication or misinterpretation or some assumptions. mm, or also this emotional balance is not checked or the reality is not checked properly. Some could be more fact based driven, and some could be more emotion driven. And Bhagavad Gita caters both. It will give us both emotional boost, mental boost, and fact boost, reality of life boost as well. So with this prayer, hope, aim, aspiration, uh, prayer that the emotion, my and mental well-being is all intact, and also the facts of life properly checked, all with this prayer to love and serve Guru and Gaurang Vaishnavas devotees unconditionally, to come to that platform which is the platform of the soul proper. We continue our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 8 to 12. So uh, we did this shloka yesterday, last time also. Uh, Let us, I will just read the Sanskrit and then we read translation and then we read the purport, but from somewhere in between. अमानित्वम् अदम्भित्वम् अहिंसा शान्तिरार्जवम् आचार्योपासनं शौचं स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रह इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःखदोषानुदर्शनम् आसक्तिर् अनभि आसक्तिरनभिस्वङ्गपुत्रदारा गृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वं इष्टानिष्टोप्यपतितुषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यविचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वं तत्त्वज्ञानार्थिदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानमिति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञाननं यद् अतोऽन्यथा Rajshri, read translation.
Yes, Prabhuji. Uh, Hare Krishna. Translation: humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant feelings, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think we discussed this last time or what? Uh, is there a difference between humility and pridelessness? It says in the translation, right? Humility, pridelessness. Do you think there is some difference between humility and pridelessness? Any thoughts? Sounds quite synonymous, right? Humility and pridelessness.
Yeah, it sounds
No,
very similar to me.
I think there should be
But
a difference.
there is a difference?
Yes, Prabhuji, there is a difference. For example, devotees exhibit humility, but that does not mean that they're completely devoid of pride. Uh, Devotees do take pride in the fact that they are serving the Supreme Lord.
Hmm. Yes, Amira, what do you say? Is there a difference between humility and pridelessness? स्क्रीन हटा सकते हो हर्षा वैसे. See, uh, one could be prideless, but need not necessarily be humble. Humility covers everything. Humility means one is prideless by default, na? Naturally. Humility means encompasses pridelessness. But one could be prideless, but doesn't mean that he is humble. Humble means he's completely grounded. Yeah. Humble means he's completely flexible. He's all open. He's all available. They say humility is not like, again, we were discussing once, right? It is not like standing last in the queue, or humility. Yeah, that is also humility. That is also humility. But humility is not just like being the last in everything, putting everyone ahead of me. That is also humility, but not just like that. What if Krishna wants us to be the prime minister of a country? Yeah, why not take on that role? And one can still be humble, na? One can still be humble. So humility encompasses pride also, pridelessness. But one might be prideless, but need not necessarily be humble. Need not necessarily be humble. Real humility is what? Always thinking of Krishna, always glorifying Krishna. Always glorifying Krishna, always glorifying devotees. And this is natural. No, real humility is natural. Right now, I am not in my real consciousness, so I have to make efforts. This is why sadhana bhakti is with Vaidhi bhakti, sadhana bhakti is effort. And Raganuga Bhakti is what we want to enter, what we want to attain in this life itself. And Raganuga Bhakti is effortless. Yeah. Bhakti in reality is effortless. Bhakti is not hard work, na. Bhakti is not parishram. Bhakti is not labor. It is not hard work. Sadhana bhakti is hard work. Vedi bhakti is hard work. Vedi bhakti is parishram, do's and don'ts, and lots of carefully. But Raganuga bhakti is not hard work. It is not parishram. It is natural. It is effortless. That is the stage we want to enter. Okay, so we read a bit from the purport, and I think we start from this paragraph. False ego means accepting this body as oneself. Huh? So, Harsha, you read this paragraph. False ego means accepting this body as oneself. Then next paragraph, Rajshri read, and thereafter Anuja, if you can read the mm, third paragraph in that order.
False ego means accepting this body as oneself. When one understands that he is not his body and his spirit soul, he comes to his real ego. Ego is there. False ego is condemned, but not real ego. In the Vedic literature, Brahadaranyaka Upanishad 1.4.10, it is said, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am spirit. This I am, the sense of self, also exists in the liberated stage of self realization. This sense of I am is ego. But when the sense of I am is applied to this false body, it is false ego. When the sense of self is applied to reality, this is real ego. There are some philosophers who say we should not we should give up our ego, but we cannot give up our ego because ego means identity. We ought, of course, to give up the false identification with the body.
Rajshri, do you want to give a try? Otherwise, Anuja or Harsha read.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I can try, but
Yes.
I'm sorry, the network is not stable here. So,
Yeah, let's see if there's interruption, then maybe Harsha or Anuja can read. Huh?
okay.
Continue, Rajshri,
Uh,
try.
yes. One should try to understand the distress of accepting birth, death, old age, and disease. There are descriptions in various Vedic literature of birth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the word of the unborn, the world of the unborn, the child's stay in the womb of the mother, its suffering, etc., are all very graphically described. It should be thoroughly understood that birth is distressful. Because we forget how much distress we have suffered within the womb of the mother, we do not make any solution to the repetition of birth and death. Similarly, at the time of death, there are all kinds of suffering, and they are also mentioned in the authoritative scriptures. These should be discussed. And as far as disease and old age are concerned, everyone gets practical experience. No one wants to be deceased, and no one wants to become old, but there is no avoiding these. Unless we have a pessimistic view of this material life, considering the distress of birth, death, old age, and disease, there is no impetus for us for our making advancement in spiritual life. Should I read ahead, Prabhuji?
Yes, read one more.
As for detachment from children, wife, and home, it is not meant that one should have no feeling for these. They are natural objects of affection. But when they are not favorable to spiritual progress, then one should not be attached to them. The best process for making the home pleasant is Krishna consciousness. If one is in full Krishna consciousness, he can make his home very happy because this process of Krishna consciousness is very easy. One need only chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Have some discussion on books like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and engage oneself in deity worship. These four things will make one happy. One should train the members of his family in this way. The family members can sit down morning and evening and chant together Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If one can mold his family life in this way to develop Krishna consciousness, following these four principles, then there is no need to change from family life to renounced life. But if it is not congenial, not favorable for spiritual advancement, then family life should be abandoned. One must sacrifice everything to realize or serve Krishna, just as Arjuna did. Arjuna did not want to kill his family members, but when he understood that these family members were impediments to his Krishna realization, he accepted the instruction of Krishna and fought and killed them. In all cases, one should be detached from the happiness and distress of family life because in this world, one can never be fully happy or fully miserable. Hare Krishna.
Happiness and distress are concomitant factors of material life. One should learn to tolerate as advised in Bhagavad Gita. One can never restrict the coming and going of happiness and distress. So one should be detached from the materialistic way of life and be automatically equipoised in both cases. Generally, when we get something desirable, we are very happy, and we get something undesirable, we are distressed. But if we are actually in the spiritual position, these things will not agitate us. To reach that stage, we have to practice unbreakable devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna without deviation means engaging oneself in the processes of devotional service: chanting, hearing, worshipping, offering respect, etc., as described in the last verse of the ninth chapter. That process should be followed.
Anuja, read next also.
Happiness,
Naturally.
naturally, naturally, when one is adapted to the spiritual way of life, he will not want to mix with materialistic men. Naturally, when one is adapted to the spiritual way of life, he will not want to mix with materialistic men. That would go against his grain. One may test himself by seeing how far he is inclined to live in solitary place without unwanted association. Naturally, a devotee has no taste for unnecessary sporting or cinema going or enjoying some social function because he understands that these are simply a waste of time. There are many research scholars and philosophers who study sex life and some other subject. But according to Bhagavad Gita, such research work and philosophical speculation have no value. That is more or less nonsensical. According to Bhagavad Gita, one should make research by philosophical discretion into the nature of the soul. One should make research to understand the self. That is recommended here.
Harsha, read.
As far as self-realization is concerned, it is clearly stated here that Bhakti Yoga is specially practical. As soon as there is a question of devotion, one must consider the relationship between the super soul and the individual soul. The individual soul and the super soul cannot be one, at least not in the Bhakti conception, the devotional conception of life. This service of the individual soul to the Supreme Soul is eternal, Nityam, as it is clearly stated. So, bhakti or devotional service is eternal. One should be established in that philosophical conviction.
Rajshri, read.
In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11, this is explained. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam. Those who are actually knowers of the absolute truth know that the self is realized in three different phases as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the last word in the realization of the absolute truth. Therefore, one should reach up to that platform of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus engage in the devotional service of the Lord. That is the perfection of knowledge. Um, should I continue, Prabhuji?
Now continue.
Beginning from practicing humility up to the point of realization of the Supreme Truth, the absolute personality of Godhead, this process is just like a staircase beginning from the ground floor and going up to the top floor. Now, on this staircase, there are so many people who have reached the first floor, the second or the third floor, etc. But unless one reaches the top floor, which is the understanding of Krishna, he is at a lower stage of knowledge. If anyone wants to compete with God and at the same time make advancement in spiritual knowledge, he will be frustrated. It is clearly stated that without humility, understanding is not truly possible. To think oneself God is most puffed up. Although the living entity is always being kicked by the stringent laws of material nature, he still thinks, I am God, because of ignorance. The beginning of knowledge, therefore, is amanitva, or humility. One should be humble and know that he is subordinate to the Supreme Lord. Due to rebellion against the Supreme Lord, one becomes subordinate to material nature. One must know and be convinced of this truth. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anuja, if you can read translation, then read translation. Otherwise, Harsha, read. Okay, Harsha, आप पढ़ो translation. और Anuja, read.
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of my people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance.
Sure. See, every shloka in Bhagavad Gita, na, Krishna speaking, everything is fact, everything is real reality of life, and everything is enhances our emotional, mental well-being, है ना? Our intellectual well-being, well-being at every levels. Our senses become very purified when we hear of Krishna. Look, so this, see, externally it doesn't appear to be any yoga, na? Apparently, yeah, externally, it doesn't appear like we are not doing any yoga. Huh? Externally speaking, apparently, one may say, na, Baba, you are not in a yoga studio, you are not doing yoga. This is not some yoga, no. But this is the real yoga. Yoga means what? Connection, union. And union and connection can be had out of love only. So, yoga by default means bhakti yoga only. Uh, Loving relationship with Krishna. Uh, But because in this world we live is world of duality and there's so many desires, different degrees of various desires and all. So that is why for our betterment, then yoga is split. Okay, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhyan Yoga, Ashtang Yoga, Phalana Yoga, Dhimkana Yoga, and then Bhakti Yoga. But yoga in natural means Bhakti Yoga only. Prem, loving devotional service to Krishna. So this is the highest yoga we are actually performing. We don't need to do anything um, smart. Keep it simple. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Read Bhagavad Gita and be happy. Honor Krishna Prasadam and be happy. Associate with devotees and be happy. Everything, knowledge and every peace and every detachment will come about. But because I am complicated, na, this is why this simple doesn't appear very simple or attractive. Uh, as Prabhupada said, right? Like what? It is too simple that it can be easily missed. Something if it is too simple, na, doesn't really interest us also. So message of Bhagavad Gita again, Krishna is giving us facts of life, reality of life in this communication, direct communication with us, and at the same time with that, he is enhancing our ego, he's enhancing our satisfaction level altogether. So false ego is very talked about in this world, na? Um, a question and see. uh, we want a eco-friendly environment, right? Lot is spoken about, like in Glasgow last year, there was a COP22 or COP26 summit, something to do with climate change protection and all. eh? And worldwide, maybe a bit less than in India as what it is, say, in the Western world or in Asia. But around the globe, there is good talk of eco-friendly environment, protecting climate, nature, and all. What will bring about eco-friendly environment?
When we can train our insane mind.
Nice, yeah. When we can train our uncontrolled mind, say when we can control a bit our uncontrolled mind. बताऊं? Eco-friendly environment will only come when we have ego-friendly relationships. Uh, E- oth- Eco-friendly environment will only come when we have ego-friendly relationships. Ego-friendly. When we have ego-friendly relationship, then only the environment is going to be eco, sustainable, harmonious, peaceful, healthy, positive, green. mm. But if there's room for ego, uh, means two different agenda, then we can never have eco-friendly environment. So the environment is fine. I need to change myself. I need to become eco-friendly, as in ego-friendly. I need to become ego-friendly. Mm. You know, there was one popular record w- worldwide. Michael Jackson, I think, was in that video. Big personalities, and it was don't remember which year, 80s or 90s, in a studio, I think, in America, and was to support some disease, like as in cure for cancer or AIDS. And the message was also like peace, harmony, love, and fair, no racism on the quite popular song also. And them celebrities, that such big celebrities coming in one studio, and what is the only ask? Leave your ego behind. Even now, na, big sports persons, big politicians or celebrities, artists, film stars, and all. When you come to work, please leave your ego behind. At work, we all are say equal, and there's nothing egoistic. We should not be having egoistic. So this eco-friendly environment, eco-friendly relationships, good homes, good homely environment will come about only when we are ego friendly, when we are not carrying ego, है ना? हमारा हृदय मक्खन के जैसा नरम होना चाहिए, कोमल होना चाहिए एकदम। हाँ, so heart should be soft like butter, na? Smooth like a butter, lightweight like a cotton. Then only that is ego friendly. Ego friendly doesn't, again, false ego, this absence of false ego or not having ego doesn't mean that I do not have my real ego. False ego means what? That I identify myself with the body. That is false ego. I identify myself with matter. That is false ego. And if there is false ego, means there is some real ego also. Ego in general means what? Identity. पहचान है ना? Ego is identity, and I have a real identity. What? Devotee identity, not a brahmachari identity, not a sannyasi or a vanaprasth or a uh, grihastha, hmm, or not a brahman, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, or no, not that identity. Identity what? Devotee, a devotee of the devotee of devotee. That is the real ego, that is the real identity, and I should be coming in that identity. And it is only when I come in that identity, only then I can find real peace or eco environment within myself and outside of myself. So so many charities work, and they work good for to bring about a good change in environment, in nature, and also in people's physical well-being. But if those who are working say, if we are not free ourselves from lust, anger, avarice, vanity, ego, these greed, then we cannot bring that real change. And if I'm not following a good, healthy lifestyle myself, as in not going to bed on time, not waking up on time, hmm, not eating on time, and not eating proper, not eating healthy, and what? Into intoxication, into gambling, into illicit relations, then I cannot bring about a good change. No, no. So nothing needs changing. I need to change. Nature will accordingly adjust and come about. Yeah. So ego friendly relations is what we want, and this is Bhagavad Gita teaches us to naturally leave our ego behind, as in center is one only, center of life for everyone is one, Krishna, and that has to be realized that the center of my life is one only, Krishna. Only if I realize this, then within myself I will be ego friendly, and then I can be ego friendly at a world level also. Otherwise, I can never be ego friendly. And without being ego friendly, I cannot experience happiness. So, this is Krishna again giving us a fact of our life, a reality of life, a truth of life, uh, and which is same time protecting our emotional well being, enhancing us, nourishing us, helping us grow. Uh, so that is ego, identity, understanding our identity, and yeah, pridelessness or pride, na? We carry ego. We should be carrying ego. Ego can never be left. See, there are things in life which can never be left. Ego. अब कैसे जाएगा भाई? Emotion है ना? Fear. How can fear be left, Baba? हाँ, fear, ego, dependency, desire. A question: should we stop making plans, practicing Krishna consciousness? Is it good to have plans? Is it good to make plans? Generally, it is seen as spiritual practitioner. You should not be making much plans. What do you say, Rajshri? Harsha, Anuja, others if can say.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
No, I think planning is important. Even my chanting, I will not be able to do if I don't plan steady.
Yes, so planning is important, and planning can never be. ऐसा नहीं है ना that I'm practicing Krishna consciousness. I don't need to plan anymore. Throw away planning. We cannot live without desires. We cannot throw desires out of the window. We cannot throw plans out of the window. this plan making thing. We cannot throw ego out of the window, pride out of the window. No, we need to understand the real plan, the real ego, the real desire, the real ego plan, है ना? That has to be brought about. Real plan is what? To fit in Krishna's plan. That is the real plan. That should be the only plan actually. How do I plan myself that I fit in Krishna's plan? Real desire should be to fit in Krishna's desire. Real pride should be that I belong to Krishna, I belong to devotees. Real desire again should be to fit in Krishna's desire or to fit myself in the desire of a pure devotee of Krishna or in the desire of a devotee of Krishna. Uh, These are our real values which we aspire, which we cherish. So coming to our real ego, ego to rahega hi.
Hare
And
Krishna Prabhuji.
yes,
Sorry, I have a question.
no, no,
So
go.
last time you were telling that to identify Krishna's plan, we have to, be initiated by a guru, and only then he he will represent Krishna for us, and he will tell us. But before, I am not initiated. Now, how do I identify?
Rajshri, your voice is breaking now, huh? Your voice
Okay.
broke up. So what we could hear is to identify Krishna's plan, one has to be initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, and then.
That you had mentioned this some in the previous class when I asked some similar
Mm-hmm,
questions. So now I'm not yet
mm-hmm,
initiated. Now, how do I identify Krishna's plan?
mm-hmm. How do you identify Krishna's plan? Na? See, Krishna consciousness is actually a revelation in the heart. And by our good practice, not just good intent, good practice with effort oriented practice in prayers. uh, Pray to Krishna, Sishtastkam, call out the Sishtastkam verses. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram, patitam mam vishame bhavam budau. Kripaya tava pad pankaja sthiti duli sadrisham vichintaya. This is a very heartfelt prayer, very deep absorbing prayer. Uh, So pray this to Mahaprabhu. By prayers, we will understand Krishna's plan. Krishna's plan is what? That Krishna send us our representative to you. This should be a sadhaka's plan. That Krishna send me who is your representative. Send me your representative. Send me devotees in life. That is real opening of Krishna consciousness then. And once devotees then enter, see, it is very hard, difficult in life. Note this, Harsha, Lucy, Rajshri, Anuja, others. It is most extremely difficult in life to have a heart to heart connection with someone. Extremely difficult to have a heart to heart connection with someone. Parents, okay, there is love, respect, care, but still having that heart to heart connection. Husband, wife, partners, there is love, respect, care, concern, but may not be having that strong heart to heart connection. Yeah. So pray to Krishna that I can have a heart to heart connection with you, Krishna. That would come about when I have a heart to heart connection with devotees. And this also a heart to heart connection cannot be had with all devotees. No, not not practical. Uh, that may sound a bit harsh perhaps, but no, heart to heart connection we cannot be had with all devotees. But definitely it can be had with some devotees or some one or two devotee, and that is we have to single out one or two that Vaishnava. So pray to Krishna. It is by prayers that in many a case then initiation might will become like a formality, na? Formality as in okay, Havan Yajna, and we sit in the fire sacrifice and we take vows. But before taking vows, it is most important to have a heart to heart connection with the person. Is it not, Rajshri? Before sitting in the initiation yajna,
Definitely, Prabhuji. With Guru Maharaj, you should have that connection. Otherwise, there is no point.
एग्जैक्टली है ना? तो इनिशिएशन तो फिर एक फॉर्मेलिटी बन के रहनी चाहिए ना? दीक्षा काले भक्त करे आत्मसमर्पण, सही काले, अब देखो महाप्रभु क्या बोल रहे हैं, सही काले, उसी समय, कृष्णा करे तारे आत्मसम, कृष्णा उसको तभी कंसीडर कर लेता है कि हाँ भाई, ये अभी दीक्षा ले रहा है ना? और उसी समय भगवान उसको अपने आप अपने स्वीकार कर लेते हैं। हाँ? तो अब ये पूरे जीवन ही, मनुष्य जीवन ही मिला अपने आप को उसको तैयार करने के लिए, गुरु गौरांग की सेवा में, है ना? हरि गुरु वैष्णवों की सेवा में अपने आप को तैयार करने के लिए, और उसी के लिए वो हार्ट टू हार्ट कनेक्शन है, और इसी के लिए प्रार्थना करो श्रीमती राधा रानी से। श्रीमती राधा रानी, आई वुड लाइक टू come understand Braj Bhakti. I would like to perform Braj Bhakti. I would like to come under that. So kindly provide me your shelter. Give me your shelter. And
जी
Guru Maharaj kaun hai? He's the, say, for a sadhaka, it is subjective. For a sadhaka, is the direct embodiment of Krishna. None other than Krishna. Guru Maharaj is for one, someone customized manifestation of Krishna. इतना याद रख पाओगे? Customized manifestation of Krishna. हाँ? Direct customized manifestation of Krishna. स्वयं भगवान प्रकट हुए हैं उसी रूप में। हाँ, एक होता है ना, स्वरूप से तो भगवान है, भगवान है ना, स्वरूप से तो सेव्य भगवान और सेवक भगवान। सेव्य मतलब वर्शिपेबल गॉड, कृष्ण इज वर्शिपेबल गॉड। सेव्य सेव्य भगवान, इष्ट देव हमारे, हाँ? और गुरु कौन है? सेवक भगवान, द बेस्ट बेस्ट प्योरेस्ट डिवोटी ऑफ कृष्णा फॉर अ साधका, वो। तो वो साक्षात कृष्ण मूर्ति है, साक्षात कृष्ण कृपा मूर्ति है। तो जो आपका प्रश्न है ना कि मैं कैसे समझूं डिजायर भगवान की, हम डायरेक्ट नहीं समझ सकते भगवान की क्या इच्छा है, क्या हृदय का भाव है। भगवान का हृदय का भाव तो भाई वही समझ पाएगा ना जो भगवान को समर्पित है। और वो कौन है? वो शुद्ध वैष्णव, परम वैष्णव। और वो हमारे जीवन में कौन है? गुरु तुल्य, गुरु वर्ग, है ना? और उन्हीं के हृदय में हमें स्थान बनाना है। जिस दिन हमने भगवान के एक शुद्ध परम वैष्णव के हृदय के में स्थान बना लिया, भगवान कहाँ हमसे छुपे हुए रहेंगे? कहीं नहीं रहेंगे, एकदम भी नहीं रहेंगे। तो इसीलिए देखो, भगवान की कृपा है, शास्त्र दिया, ये कृपा है भगवान की। भागवत गीता दिया ना, प्रवचन किया इत्यादि। भागवत गीता में भगवान भी गुरु का रोल कर रहे हैं अर्जुन के लिए, कई रोल निभा रहे हैं। फिर भागवत गीता भागवतम दिया, ये कृपा है भगवान की। हरि नाम दिया, ये भी कृपा है भगवान की, स्वयं का नाम दिया, है ना? प्रसादम दिया हमारे लिए, कृपा है भगवान की। भौम वृंदावन दिया, सब कुछ कृपा है। लेकिन ये सारी थोड़ी इनडायरेक्ट कृपा है, इन द सेंस भागवत गीता आके हमारा कान नहीं पकड़ेगा या हमें मार्ग नहीं, अंदर से भगवान हमें परमात्मा स्वरूप से मार्ग भी बता रहे हैं। लेकिन डायरेक्ट कृपा क्या है भगवान की? अपना ही स्वरूप, अपना ही परिचय हमसे कराने वाला। गुरु एक प्रकार से भगवान का अभिन्न अंग ही है ना? दैट पर्सनैलिटी, दैट एम्बॉडीमेंट हु इज़ नॉन डिफरेंट फ्रॉम कृष्णा, उस वो हमारे जीवन में आए। हाँ? तो वो डायरेक्ट साक्षात धरित्वेन समस्त शास्त्रे, उक्तस्तथा वा, हाँ, साक्षात धरित्वेन समस्त शास्त्रे। तो ये सारे शास्त्रों का कि गुरु इज़ नन अदर देन डायरेक्ट embodiment of personality of Krishna appearing in Guru form. अर्चा विग्रह भी कृपा है, लेकिन गुरु क्या ना, he is one who can activate that pure Krishna consciousness in us, who can revive, who can activate, who can instigate that pure Krishna consciousness amongst all of us, amongst us. Huh? So then when we have built that sort of relationship, that is how then we can understand the desire of Krishna, which is non-different from the desire of pure devotee, and we just align ourselves to that desire. प्रभुपाद जी की भी तो यही थी ना, उनके गुरु महाराज ने उनको आज्ञा दिया और प्रभुपाद जी उस आज्ञा को अपना से शिरोधारण करके और फिर चल पड़े ना।
जी
So for us, prayers is on our heart, in our hands. Prayers is very powerful. Japa is simultaneously praying, japa is simultaneously glorifying. देखो, जब भी हम कीर्तन या जपा करते हैं, अनुभव करो, ये हम सभी का अनुभव ही है। कीर्तन सुन रहे हैं हम, समझो घर पे ही कीर्तन सुन रहे हैं या भक्तों के संग में मंदिर में कीर्तन। कीर्तन सुनते हुए साथ ही साथ प्रार्थना भी निकल के आती है ना? We are listening to a class, say, we are listening to Kirtan, we are doing japa. And when we are doing it with heart, you know, with whatever heart we can bring into it, simultaneously we pray. And simultaneously we glorify, and simultaneously we feel so humbled and we feel so blessed. So on our part, it's prayers only. Mm. These prayers is on our part, and we should fully exercise these prayers. So once we try to understand the devotee of Krishna and work on our devotee relationship and pray to Krishna to be able to find a heart-to-heart connection with some devotee. This is the most important thing. Now, having come to Krishna consciousness, and if I do not understand Braj Bhakti, Bapre, such a huge loss. What good is of that human form of life? Huh? Uh, यदि गौर न होइते তবে কি হইতে কেমনে ধারিতাম দে है ना राधारे अ, राधारे महिमा प्रेम रस सीमा जगत जानाबे के जानाते के Mahaprabhu's Parshad again not coming to my mind who यदि गौर न होइते तबे की होइते केमोने धारिताम दे. So this is a pure devotee saying, if Gauranga Mahaprabhu had not appeared, if Krishna had not appeared as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Kemone Dharitamde, what would be the use of keeping this life? How would one survive? How can one live? Radhare Mahima Prema Rasasima. Na- Srimati Radharani's mood, it crosses the limit of love. It completely shatters the limit of love. Hmm? So Jagat Janata ke. Who would have revealed this love of Srimati Radharani for Krishna had Krishna not come as Mahaprabhu? So this mood, this Paraspar Prem, this Paraspar Keli, this Paraspar Prem between Radha and Krishna, this is what we want to understand. We would like to, and in order for us to understand, we have to be blessed by a pure devotee of Krishna. So this is the prayer for us. तुलसी आई फाइंड पर्सनली देखो हम मंदिर में गाते हैं ना सुबह तुलसी महारानी की आरती तुलसी पूजा करते हैं ना so we sing the prayers of tulsi maharani now rajshri you might know it by heart also and check the each and every stanza of tulsi prayers all of you check each and every stanza is to desire based only है ना to fulfill our desire or to make us more desirous as in तुलसी कृष्ण प्रेयसी नमो नमः कृष्ण को प्रेयसी है ना नमो नमः राधा कृष्ण सेवा पाओ ए अभिलाषी है ना देन जे तुम्हारा शरण लोय तारा वंशा पूर्ण होय से हाँ जे तुम्हारा शरण लोय तारा वंशा so it begins with taking sharnagati it begins with taking shelter so we pray to Krishna for shelter and then tara all the desires get fulfilled. Further on, Morai Abhilash Vilas Kunja Diyovas. Nayane Heribo Sada Yugal Ruparasi. So this is my desire, only desire, not just desire, only desire. Residence in the eternal transcendental realm. And what would I do? Heribo Sada Yugal Ruparasi. Admire the divine couple. No? A Nivedana Dharo, again a request. Sakir Anugata Karo. That मेक मी सबसर्वेंट अनुगत ना किसी के सबऑर्डिनेट बनाओ सेवा अधिकार दिए करो निज दासी so if we want to become personal associate of Krishna then seva adhikar through service. So for a sadhaka one's guru maharaj is the best servant the god servant and by serving him we can understand the desire of Krishna. Does that somewhat answer your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Initiation, no initiation, some of the things may kind of see it is nice if we make initiation as a formality. now sounds a bit awkward, right? Initiation को formality बोल रहा है. In the sense, before taking the initiation ceremony, na, we build that relationship. Very, very important. अभी समझो शादी का भी होता है ना, भाई कोई संबंध ही नहीं बना और शादी करने बैठ जाओ. So before taking that initiation, building that relationship, having that some revelation, some clarity, some inspiration, confirmation, some heart to heart relationship, na? And then initiation is the beginning. It is not like, okay, oh, I'm initiated now. And no, it is not pressure. Initiation is not a pressure. Rather, it is release from any pressure. Initiation should not be seen as like, oh, it's such a pressure thing. Oh my God, I'm now initiated. It's a huge pressure, huge responsibility. Yeah, there's a responsibility, but it is to free us from all pressure. So we may not be initiated yet. One may not be initiated yet. But lena hai na initiation, the one would take na initiation. And in order to take that initiation again, it's the first step to initiate. And this is why we always have to pray for more devotee association. And once we have good devotee association, we find inspiration, appreciation. The day I start seeing someone as a Vaishnava, that day Krishna comes even more closer to me. See, there are two things in life. Rajshri, Anuja, Lucy, Harsha, others. One is that someone gives me a phone call. Uh, Someone gives me a phone call, and someone comes to my house, say, rings the doorbell, or someone gives me a phone call. And another is I go to someone's place. What I mean to say is, एक तो है कि भाई मैं भगवान, I go to Krishna, huh? And another is Krishna coming directly to us. So that Krishna coming directly to us is through devotee only. Otherwise, I going directly to Krishna is like practically impossible to attain, at least in this Kali Yuga. So the sutra, the principle, the essence, the siddhant, the code is this only: finding our attachment in a devotee of Krishna. Bhagavati achal bhavo yad bhagavata sangata etavan eva yajatam iha nishreya odaye. Bhagavati achalo bhavo yad bhagavata sangata. So Rajshri, check this Bhagavatam 2:3:11. Etavan eva yajatam. Uh, Eha Nishreya Odaya Bhagavati Achalo Bhavo. We want Achal Bhav in Krishna. Na? Achal means unflinching, unchangeable, fixed. भाव भाव भक्ति भाव से ही होती है और वो भाव हमें चाहिए अनचेंजेबल फिक्स्ड भाव. तो हाउ विल दैट भाव कम अबाउट? बाय taking the association of a Bhagavad personality. Uh, So check that Rajshri 2:3:11. All of us we can check.
जी.
Then accepting the birth, that old age, disease as distress. अब देखो, it is naturally understood disease is a distress, death is also distress, old age is also distress. How is birth a distress? थोड़ा explain करो. Birth तो is a celebration, right? Death is not a celebration, understandable. Disease is not a celebration, old age is not a celebration, but here Krishna is saying perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. How is birth sort of evil or distress?
As a child in the mother's womb, we spend 9 months in such a, what to say, I don't know, I don't have the correct words to describe this in English, but um, उस जगह पे हम लोग हेल्पलेस पोजीशन में रहते हैं 9 महीने
Yeah,
के
yeah.
लिए inside the womb of mother, quite a constricted and dark place, and not a place where anybody would like to stay for that long. But we have to undergo
True.
that process in order to get a body.
Hmm. True.
So be it human or
Uh,
any other body. Sorry.
hmm. Yes, yes. Any other birth, any other life. Again, us na, I mean, isolation, yeah, COVID, lockdown, and all was so troublesome for many, है ना? And what to speak of living in a very compact and unclean environment, same. So, birth is certainly is not like something to be very proud of. It is not something to be very glorifying or like I've achieved something and all. Mm. But yes, this is an entrance into human form of life, and that is the success of human form of life. Yeah. Having this human form of life, birth, now is to what? The birth is given to glorify that. See, birth as in someone goes to school. है ना? As in बोल सकते हैं ना? Okay, his student life has started. He's given birth to student life, and there's many samskaras for going into school. Also, there is some samskara. Eating also, na? There is annaprasana samskara. There is many संस्कारास स्कूल जाना भी विद्या अर्जन करने के लिए तो एक संस्कार है ना अब what is the culmination that okay he comes out with school college uni with good grades huh? And then starts working lives in practical life finds good engagement so that is the success likewise birth having found this human form of life the success of human form of life is what that so human form of life is meant to actually glorify that. Hmm? This is why this human form of life is given to understand what I am not dying. I'm not meant to die. That is not for me. Or rather, I've already died materially. इसके लिए, this is why this human form of life. And these are all notices. Now, say if someone he's um, declared cancer or someone who is declared some health disease, does one celebrate? Oh, I've been diagnosed with cancer. I've been diagnosed with some other health problem. Does one celebrate? No, no one celebrates. He knows that, oh, I've been diagnosed with this. Now, what does one do? He makes lifestyle changes, rationally speaking, right? Now, one would follow doctor, and doctor would advise that you sleep this hours, you eat this much, you do this much, do this exercise, less take less weight less stress all those things and the person would follow right because he have been diagnosed with cancer say so he makes lifestyle changes and all and this is not no celebration this is becoming more aware likewise us with birth is no celebration old age disease definitely no celebration rather what these are direct notices of krishna to make lifestyle changes all to what to glorify that वरना बहुत विडंबना है भाई बहुत विडंबना मतलब बहुत दुर्भाग्य हो जाएगा बिग लॉस बिग अनफॉर्चून that having this is why I say having attained human form of life but not practicing piety very misfortune practicing piety there's so many pious people worldwide culturally thoda piety is a bit different but still there are many pious moral people worldwide so having human form of life being moral and practicing morality and piety but not finding interest in spirituality very big loss now having mm, human form of life moral pious as well and finding interest in spirituality yet not finding resolve in bhagavad gita krishna consciousness tremendous loss having found resolve in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna consciousness, Japa also, yet not finding good resolve in devotee association. Tremendous, tremendous loss. Having found resolve in devotee association also. Yes, devotee association is very powerful, has helped me a lot. But not finding devotee attachment. बताओ राजश्री कितना बड़ा लॉस होगा कितना बड़ा लॉस I've been practicing, someone could be practicing devotional service for whatever years. Again, devotional service is not by years, but someone practicing for whatever years. but not found yet attachment in devotees. Hmm? Fine, I have my affinity and interest in the whole practice, reading, hearing, chanting, everything, but I have not found attachment in one or two or some devotee. So, big loss. है ना? So, human life is meant for attaining this. So, we need to understand the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, and death is this only. Birth, सब चीज की एक सार्थकता होती है ना. Everything has its culmination and is like, okay, this founds its culmination. Like many say, na, I found completeness. Many say, my wife completes me or my husband completes me. I find complete in my children or my nation, society, like that. So everything find its completeness. Birth ki completeness, where does birth find its completeness? In death. How do I glorify that? So for a sadhaka, that should be always in our contemplation. And by that we mean contemplating of Radha Krishna. Hmm. That by that we mean we have that is not meant for me. No. That is just a journey from temporary to eternal. But in order for me to prepare that journey, I need to develop devotee attachment. I need to develop Krishna attachment. I need to develop attachment in the holy name, in japa, in reading, hearing, absorption. So heart to heart connection is very difficult to find in life. Absorption is very difficult to find in life, be materially or spiritually. है ना? Very difficult. इसीलिए see 8 billion population. How many take birth and how many just pass on the life doing what? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, and not finding happiness in that also, and just give up the life without exercising any faith, any spiritual faith, without putting into effect, activating that spiritual faith. So there's great degradation, Baba. Born in human form of life, carrying some spiritual faith, but I do not exercise it. Such a loss. So we all should not, at least us, है ना? Studying Bhagavad Gita, we should pray fervently, Krishna, that help me find good devotee association. Help me find good devotee attachment. Kindly, Krishna. We should pray fervently to Srimati Radharani. Without this, no possibility of understanding Braj Bhakti, no possibility of doing any proper bhakti. No, no. Without this, it's like, okay, we are adopting some good spiritual conditioning. But am I performing bhakti? Am I doing bhakti? Am I pleasing Krishna? Am I being any good use to Srimati Radharani? Am I understanding my relationship? No, no, no. So yeah, this is the evil, and we need to see, understand this evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. Na, Krishna consciousness is not a cover-up society. Material world is a cover-up society. Everything is covered up. Look, Vedic society, na, when someone passes away, cremation is done. Body is burned live in front. है ना? Body is taken in अर्थी. अर्थी को क्या बोलते हैं इंग्लिश में?
Ashes,
Body, what?
ashes.
Could not hear. What is it?
I mean, what do you mean by Arti Prabhuji? I thought it's
हाँ,
Ashthiya, what is the
no, no,
ashes?
no, 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 not ashes, not asthia, earthy. You know, when someone is passes away in Vedic culture, so the body is put on a wooden frame generally, है ना? With some garlanding, some decoration, or some, and then the body is first washed, cleaned, some puja is done, and the body is every family members come along and they cry a lot. Crying is very good. Grieving, mourning is good, and then the body is like washed, cleaned, and laid on a wooden platform, earthy, with some flowers and incense around, and family members, friends, well wishers, they take on that body on their shoulders, that wooden placard, say wooden platform on earthy on their shoulders, and they go from the house chanting the Lord names of Lord, है ना? Names of Lord Vishnu, different names of Lord Vishnu, and all the way now it does not go all the way because of modernization, say, but otherwise all the way to the crematorium place, and there a priest is there, and some again some worship puja is done, and the body is burned alive in front of everyone's eyes, right? And then the ashes are there taken to the holy rivers and on. So this is not cover up. One can see the difference between body and the soul, huh? And let go of those attachments, bodily attachments. And after this cremation is done, there is a generally 13-day period, na? A period of more grieving and more mourning and more yajna or some katha is done, some discourses are read from Puran and others. Na? Some priest comes and he does some reading. All this is what for the benefit of the person who passed away, and more so for the benefit of the audience, for our benefit, to understand कि एक दिन तो भैया हमारा भी नंबर आएगा. How much do we contemplate? How would I like to die? A sadhaka meditates how he would like to leave his body, when, where, huh? How, calling out to Krishna, chanting the holy names of Krishna. This is why we have to go to a Kirtanya Sadahari mood. And when the earth is taken, neighbors, everyone sees, look, this is the final destination of the body. Not covering up the body somewhere and putting underground, or not taking the body in some car, say, in some box. No one sees. No, everyone sees the final end of the body, say, the destination of the body. So we need to understand that we are not this body, spirit, soul, but this is not good enough. Furthermore, our relationship with Krishna. So this has to pinch us that wow, I've been born human form of life. I've got faith as well, and I'm exercising my faith, and I'm practicing Krishna consciousness. I like japa also, everything, and yet I have not managed to develop devotee attachment. So we should cry for this. भक्ति की दुर्लभता को समझनी है. How दुर्लभ, how difficult, difficult as in how unobtainable is bhakti, how rare it is to perform bhakti. The rareness of bhakti has to be understood. How blessed am I to be performing bhakti. कितना दुर्लभ है ये भक्ति. इसको
Prabhuji,
अच्छे से
sorry, मैं
बोलो
बीच
बोलो.
में टोक लिया.
No, no.
नहीं, I'm not able to very clearly understand this devotee attachment that you are mentioning. So devotee attachment can be with Guru Maharaj also, can be with parents also, can be.
ऑफ कोर्स ना, ऑफ कोर्स दैट हैज टू बी देयर. भाई वो साधक ही कैसा जो अपने गुरुदेव से अटैच ना हो. तो दैट
Hmm.
इज मस्ट. डिवोटी अटैचमेंट भाई वो अ, साधक ही कैसा. व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ साधक इज दैट हु इज नॉट अटैच्ड टू हिज स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर. बाबा कोई फॉर्मेलिटी थोड़ी ना स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर बनाना फिर, कि भाई you are not attached to your spiritual master. It is not like okay, I made a spiritual master and then in the Vyas Puja I see my spiritual master, and round the year there is no contact or there is nothing. I do not listen to my spiritual master. I do not hear and all. No. So yeah, devotee attachment means of course primarily attached to one spiritual master, and then spiritual master and someone whom we can confide in with. If we can confide in with, we should confide in with spiritual master, or considering the say the environment, as in considering uh, the 21st century. सो अब ऐसा नहीं है ना, जैसे अब नरोत्तम दास ठाकुर, उनके गुरु महाराज लोकनाथ, राइट, लोकनाथ महाराज, हाँ, लोकेनाथ लोकेरा जीवन है. But he was very much attached to his Guru Maharaj, of course, yes. But that doesn't mean he was not attached to others. He was attached to others also, no? So attachment is very rare. Again, the rarity of bhakti. द दुर्लभता, ये दुर्लभ बहुत सुंदर शब्द है, दुर्लभ, समथिंग विच इज very difficult to obtain. That has to be understood. How precious Krishna is, how difficult Krishna is to obtain. How precious, difficult is to obtain the association of Guru Maharaj, to obtain the association of devotees. Huh? This has to be understood. Then we can cherish so much. So, what were you saying, Rajshri?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. I have asked this
Okay.
question to many other people also. Not this particular question, but in India, mostly I've seen that most of the people who are um, uh, senior disciples and senior devotees in ISKCON, they always quote that Srila Prabhupada has always mentioned that women have to be protected throughout their life, either under the shelter of their husbands or their father or something like that. But in here in foreign countries, I'm seeing that women are allowed to be brahmacharinis also. So I'm finding this a little contradictory, and I'm not able to choose which one is the right path.
Okay, so this is slightly different question, है?
Yes.
I mean, not a question. Maybe I don't know if you're asking this as a question or sharing something which you're finding a bit, maybe say,
No, no, it's both. I'm just talking, I'm mentioning my observation and I'm also asking a question.
okay. Yeah, see, Vedic culture in the political land of India, na, Bharat Bhumi originated or finds its roots there. And Western world uh, is slightly different to Vedic view, Vedic lifestyle, Vedic standards. Prabhupada being a visionary when he traveled in the West, the main mood is what? The movement is a preaching mission. Of course it is. Hai na? And for us to feel nourishment, we have to preach. And preaching is for whom? Preaching is for myself only. I can never afford to think that I am preaching Rajshri or someone else for that matter. No, no. Preaching is for myself only. Uh, it is me who has to become a devotee. I need learning. I need help. And it is Krishna's kindness, it is your gentle kindness that you all are helping me understand Krishna consciousness and helping me become a devotee. So, uh, Krishna consciousness being a preaching movement, and the thing is, we all aspire and we all inspire each other to become a pure devotee of Krishna, to surrender ourselves to Krishna, to the service of Guru and Gaurang. And with that, in order to facilitate that, yes, the time, place, circumstance, and thing has to be seen. Na? The culture. Now, Western world, the lifestyle is slightly different. Upbringing and say relationships in many segments is slightly different than what it is in Vedic view. And Prabhupada, when he came, he saw the youth he met with, encountered. So they were, by and large, looking for some goal in life and how to a platform to practice devotional service, bhakti, na, which was not very conducive to be practiced in their homes, living alone separate from their parents or with their parents, say. It was not so conducive to be practiced. So yes, in Prabhupada, then in the Western world, he opened temples and many other Gurukul farms and all, and then ashrams, Brahmachari ashram, sure, and Brahmacharini ashram as well. And in India, the culture is naturally very Vedic grounded, even though the fabric is still there, Vedic grounded fabric. So in India, there is no say existence, or there is no Brahmacharini ashram. Yeah? Because of that Vedic itself, it is accommodated for the evolvement of one in female body. For the evolvement of one in female body, the society is still structured or functioning in a way that one in female body can find its true complete evolvement. And in Western world, the Brahmacharini ashram is set up for someone in female body can find its true evolvement. So that thing has to be always taken into should be our main focus. The involvement of the soul proper, ultimate involvement of the soul proper. Rest is to fill in or to cater to that involvement, है ना? तो उसी चीज को cater करने के लिए, to cater the devotional spirit to its perfection of someone who who is residing in a female body, a soul residing in a female body, to help cater the ultimate evolvement of the devotional spirit. The Brahmacharini ashram was set up in the Western world. And attachment, again, it is not something on the this physical proximity level. Yeah? Someone could be in male body and someone could be in female body. Doesn't matter. One could yet still be attached because this attachment is of a different different level altogether. Na? Very sacred, very different, unlike other. And attachment is such a thing, na? Absorption, attachment. It can never be had too many. I can never say I'm attached to this. Uh, I'm attached to sports. I'm attached to music. I'm attached to politics. No, 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 no. Attachment can never be into multiple. And definitely attachment can never be into opposing elements. No. It can never be into two opposing elements. No. Okay, so we check a bit more and then see. Uh, that's false ego, that's birth, that old age and disease, and that's like um, speaks here on detachment as well, right? So it is not like okay, practicing Krishna consciousness is to leave home, quit home and family. Rather, see, धर्म तोड़ना नहीं सिखाता ना कि संबंध तोड़ दो, संबंध छोड़ दो. ना धर्म जोड़ना सिखाता. So, Krishna consciousness practice, say religion for that matter, transcendental religion, it is not to break up, it is not to leave, or it is not to cut ties. Rather, it is to, for me, first to practice and then engage everyone in practicing devotional service. तो कैसे जोड़ा जाए खुद को सबसे पहले खुद को हम जोड़ें भगवान से है ना सबसे पहले खुद को हम जोड़ें जपा से कनेक्ट करें भगवान से कनेक्ट करें और उसके बाद सहज ही वो सहज हमारे ही से वो ऊर्जा वो हमारे भाव निकलेगा ही निकलना चाहिए कि कैसे सभी भगवान के ही हैं तो कैसे हम एक निमित्त बने औरों के जीवन में वो कृष्णा भावनामृत का सुख प्रदान करने के लिए आज प्रदान करने के लिए अदरवाइज सी dry detachment will never help. As in many times it might come, right? Oh, I quit my city life, I quit my city job, and I go in a village, live in a remote place. Baba, I may go in a village, live in a remote place, and I may go in isolation, I may go in silence. But what if I have not gone internally in silence? You know? If my mind is not in peace, it wouldn't be in peace even if I go in a village. So, just dropping things do not help. Just abruptly leaving does not help. Just quitting does not help. No. First is from the mind we need to develop this detachment. If I'm detached from the mind, then yes, I have no problem. I could well be using internet, laptop, gadgets, but this detachment and this will come about when I have a clear vision, a plan, a aim in life, and that should be all to mm, perfect that aim. Yeah. So it is very difficult again to have a clear vision in Krishna consciousness, to develop desire in Krishna consciousness. All these are very lofty achievements to develop absorption and attachment. So just on that term, to help the soul proper residing in a woman female's body, to help that soul proper finds its ultimate perfection, its ultimate evolution, its ultimate attainment of glory and love. uh, the brahmacharini ashram was designed, allowed for in the Western society, so that one can find its ultimate potential, ultimate growth, say. And this is the thing which should always be in our mind. Someone may be in male body or female body, but the thing is the soul propers ultimate appraisal of love for Krishna. That is what should be checked, and that is what we have to do everything to attain to that goal. Does that somewhat answer or help, Rajashri?
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'm very sorry. My network is just coming on and off. So your answer got, I could hear only half of it. So, but anyway, it did answer my question. Probably I'll take a look at the recording if that's possible later and get back.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Thank
But
you.
Rajashri, do check Bhagavatam 2:3:11, huh?
Yes,
All of
Prabhuji,
us,
I
we
will
can
open
check.
that on Vedabase. I will go through it.
Nice, nice. And everything in life, it should, we do not see as people, है ना? Krishna consciousness vision is not like to see as people. Of course, that doesn't mean I'm at Sukhdev Goswami's platform or like that. No, Sukhdev Goswami is a different platform altogether. But thing is, Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastine, na Suniche Vasupakecha Pandita Samadarshina. As in, we see as the soul proper. And soul proper's ultimate saturation, ultimate interest is in what? Pure love for Krishna. So whatever requirement is needed to fulfill that agenda, we should work on that. We should allow for it. So this is why Prabhupada allowed for brahmacharini ashram in the Western world, so that many uh, souls, kind, gentle souls in female bodies, they could find their highest aspiration and they could exercise that highest aspiration.
Right, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Happiness and distress are concomitant factors of material life. है ना? One without the other cannot go or cannot live. And again, world of duality, so these are going to be there. But the sooner I kind of align myself with Krishna, understand my relationship with Krishna, and if I can again build up some sort of comfort, trust, relationship, friendship with devotees, wow, that is ultimate in Krishna consciousness. That is ultimate. This is the message of the scriptures and shastras. This is the essence in Narottam Das Thakur prayers and all Acharya's prayers. This is all the essence. And once we get the essence, once we get the principle, once we get the Siddhant, rest all is like fill in the gap. As in they will come about. Rest all will find its place. Just in the jigsaw puzzle, na, many times if I am able to do one thing of the puzzle, then rest all gets solved. So once I'm able to crack that code and mystery, and this is the code and mystery in Krishna consciousness, finding our shelter or appreciation in some devotee. This is the code. Bhagavati Achalo Bhavo Yad Bhagavata Sangata, and not just one place, many, many places. Na? Many, many places. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Bhakta Pada Dhuli Ara Bhakta Pada Jal. Bhakta Bhukta Aveshesha Tino Mahabal. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu's instructions or dialogues with Raghunath Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Mahaprabhu says Bhakta Pada Dhuli, the dust coming from the feet of a devotee. The water offered to a devotee or the water had by a devotee. Bhakta Pada Dhuli, Bhakta Pada Jal. Bhakta Bhukta Avashesha. Whatever is the remnants of a devotee. These are the powerful. These are most powerful. Uh, So how my dealing is with Vaishnavas, with devotees, that would kind of determine my level of Krishna consciousness, my appreciation. And again, attachment can never be have in not be in multiple objects. No, attachment will always all is going to be singular, and attachment can never be definitely on two opposing elements. And we should be very careful, watchful of our association, as they say, na, uh, tell us your five friends and I will tell you who you are. Tell us the company you keep and I will tell you who you are. So very careful of our association. If we Haribol. If we protect our association, then we protect our time, we protect our anger, we protect our ego, we protect our desires and all everything. If we protect our association, so protecting association is very extremely important again. So did we just checking if we covered say all of the points or mm, yeah. Importance of self-realization, philosophical search for the absolute truth, and see, Krishna consciousness is self-realization, and it is called self-realization for a purpose, for a reason, for a meaning. As in, self-realization means I stand to be corrected. I need correction. I need improving. I need learning. Not anyone else, or maybe someone else, but it is me predominantly, na. So this is why. Who is our audience? I am the audience. Who needs preaching? I need preaching. Who should be the first listener? I should be the first listener. And then I cannot change anyone. See, can we change someone? We cannot change anyone. But can I be an instrument of inspiration for someone? Of course, yes. Yes. So, Krishna consciousness, again, do not think that one's Guru Maharaj will change you. No, but definitely inspire you. So I cannot change anyone and I should not attempt like with to change someone. But yes, I could be used by Krishna as a source of instrument, as an instrument of inspiration for someone. And for that I have to be inspired or I have to change myself. I have to evolve myself. Yeah. So we want to be these torches of instrument of inspiration for Krishna, of Krishna for others. Yeah. I should never go like, okay, with a view that I can change someone or change the world. No, I have to change myself or I have to inspire myself. Hmm. And I can never afford to think that, oh, yes, what is your question? And I can answer your question. Oh, this question someone asked me 2 weeks back, this is the answer. Or this question, this is the answer. No. Krishna residing as Paramatma within our hearts gives the answer or gives the clarity. Krishna says no, in Bhagavad Gita itself, Matasmitir Jnanam Apohanam cha. So it is from him knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness comes. We just want to become an instrument. If at all I can be an instrument, a direct, transparent via instrument, great. So life is meant to glorify Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Kirti of Krishna, Gungan of Krishna and his devotees. So this study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita will keep us intact altogether. Our emotional well-being, our mental well-being, our intellectual well-being, even our physical well-being, all our these aspirations will be very nicely. Our social well-being, and also the facts and realities of life will be all intact. And we do not find in life somewhere where emotions and this reality of life are in so nicely synced. So it is a proper philosophy and culture, marriage of philosophy and culture proper, Krishna consciousness. Uh, And when we are in this marriage in proper, then we will not have confusion in life, or there won't be miscommunications or this conflicts in life. Mm. There won't be disagreements in life. There won't be Yeah, there won't be disagreements in life. There won't be in relationships. Won't go sour. There won't be chaos. Otherwise, there's so many this tussle na in relationships because we struggle to find that proper balance between emotions and reality. So Krishna consciousness is where head meets the heart. See, exactly this is what Krishna is doing to Arjuna, is he not? The head meeting the heart, the intellect, the head, the mind, the brain, the intellect, and the heart going in sync. And sometimes we find, oh, he's too head driven, intelligence driven, logic driven, and he's too heart driven, sentiments driven. But there is room for both in pure Krishna consciousness. So Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita nourishing us at all levels. Okay, any thoughts, questions, or comments? So yeah, we study Bhagavad Gita and bring about some lifestyle changes. Very important. Most important, like, is doing japa, coming to a routine, a daily sadhana, doing japa, from which we will find strength, inspiration, and then lifestyle changes will come. Say someone, if someone is into, say, smoking, okay, if the person wants to, if we can say quit smoking, yeah, quit also we may say. But the thing to take on in life would be take on Krishna consciousness, then smoking will go away. Smoking cannot exist, na. So when we take on to Krishna consciousness, then smoking, drinking, greed, anger, pride, envy, illusion, they wouldn't exist because these are not characteristics of the soul proper. So when we take into japa, when we take into Krishna consciousness, if something is coming out, it is to help us understand that I'm coming out so that I can go out fully, and to help us understand that we should tell ourselves, I am above my anger. Tell to yourselves, I am above my anger. I'm above my false ego. uh, I'm above my pride. I'm above my greed. I'm above my lust. I'm Krishna's. So I need not be ruled by these lower natures. I come to my higher nature. I come to my real proper nature, and then be of use to the divine couple. Hare Krishna. So any final thoughts, questions, or comments, or we give it a rest here, Sam? Okay, thank you very much for your patient encouragement, and
Hare
we
Krishna.
continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.